In the previous 4 lectures of this series projectile motions, we have basically discussed about the upward motions, how the particle reaches from the point 2 to capital A, what is the maximum height, what is the expression of the maximum height, and what is the velocity at each and every point, how we calculate it, and how it changes at each and every instant of time, since the acceleration due to gravity is acting along the negative y-axis, acting along the downward directions. So each and every point on this trajectory the velocity changes, and after that at the point capital A it reaches the maximum height. When it reaches the maximum height, we know that the vertical component of the velocity is 0, so there is no vertical component, only a horizontal component remains. Okay, and this horizontal component is equal to that of the initial horizontal component of velocity, and at that particular instant the acceleration due to gravity is acting downwards, it is perpendicularly downwards along the negative y directions, and at that particular moment on the trajectory the velocity and the accelerations are at an angle 90 degree with each other. So if I analyze the component of the velocity and acceleration, which basically dominates the motions, which basically changes the direction of the motions and the magnitude of the motion at the point capital A, then we can say that Wx equal to W cos 0 degree, because here W is completely parallel to that of the horizontal x-axis, so W does not make any angle with the x-axis, so the angle is 0 degree. So the Wx, the x component of the W is W cos 0 degree, that is W, and for obvious reasons we know that the Wy, that is W cos 90 degree, is 0, and the x component of the acceleration is 0 and the y component of the acceleration is minus g. Now we are just entered into downward motion. Now we just starting the discussions from the point that the particle is at the maximum height. Now it coming downwards and strikes the ground at the point B, and this is the trajectory, this is the complete trajectory of the projectile motion. So basically we are distinguish what is the difference between the upward motion and downward motion, and what is the similarity between the upward motion and the downward motion. When the particle is at this point, let us say it is t equal to capital T1, the time of passage, the particle reaches this point capital A. Let us say at t equal to small t to the particle will reach the point Q. At that time, if I draw a tangent at the point Q, and that will be V prime, and this V prime makes an angle phi with the horizontal axis, so the V prime x is basically V prime cos phi, and y along the y directions the component of V prime is V prime y equal to V prime sin phi, sin psi. So here we again see the vertical components again shows its value, it is non-zero, its non-zero value, but along the negative y-axis. If I draw at any point, if I draw a tangent here, if I say this is the velocity V prime, if I say the angle with the horizontal is phi, then this is V cos phi and this is V sin phi, just like similar to that of it that we have discussed in the previous lectures. And when it reaches here this V sin phi, that vertical component decreases to 0. Now when it again comes downwards, the V sin V prime y, that is the V prime sin psi, again has some value, the non-zero value, but in the opposite direction. And here the angle made by the instantaneous velocity with the x-axis is phi, and here the angle V prime made by it with the x-axis is in the opposite direction. Opposite directions means this is in the clockwise sense, but this is in along the anti-clockwise sense. So the angles, if I say this angle is positive, then we can say this angle is negative. according to convention. So it shows that the y component of the velocity is along the negative y direction. So as the particle moves upward, we know that the y component of the velocity along the positive y axis decreases and becomes 0. As the particle coming downward, the y component of the velocity increases, and when it reach at the point B, for this trajectory we can say that is the maximum value of the y component, but each and every point on this trajectory, each and every point on this motion, the horizontal component remains the same. So here also we can say the Wx should be equal to V prime x, but V prime y is V prime sin psi here and Wy is 0 here. So if I want to write down the equation motions, how it looks like, let us see. At first we try to concentrate on this figure, as I am telling you that the x component of velocity is not changed, it will remain the same, but the y component of velocity is changed. When the particle is at the maximum height, the y component of the velocity is 0, but as the particle is coming downward, the y component of velocity increases, and let us say at t equal to t1, the y component of velocity is v prime y, and let us say at t equal to t2, at t equal to t2, the time interval, the time taken by the particle reaching from A to capital P is t2, and the time taken by the particle reaching from A to capital Q is t1. So if I write down the equation of motion, then it will be v prime y equal to minus v prime y, since the particle's y component is along the negative y direction, and minus of Wy, since the particle's y component velocity is along the negative directions. Actually it is 0, but if I consider direction, the direction is 0 here, negative here, plus minus of gt2, because acceleration due to gravity is always acting along the negative y directions, and t2 is the time, and t2 is the time when the particle reach from A to the point Q. So if it is, then v equal, this is the form of v equal to u plus at. So if I put the values, that is v prime y, that is minus v prime y, Wy is 0, so it becomes 0, minus of gt2, minus of gt2. Okay, so one thing we have to say here, since it is a downward motion, okay, so as the particle moves along the negative y axis, the velocity is negative, the instantaneous velocity at any point on the trajectory, y component obviously it is negative, and the acceleration due to gravity, which is acting along the negative y axis, which it is also negative. Since velocity is negative, acceleration is negative, so as the particle coming downward, then this g now does not acting as an retardation, this g is now acting along the as the acceleration. We can say by one line that here the negative velocity is increases by the negative acceleration. Okay, the negative velocity acceleration increases the negative velocity. So if I just omit the sign, if I just concerning about the value, then Vy equal to g into t2. Okay, but t2 is the time measured after reaching the maximum height. T2 is not the time measured from the point where it is projected, that is the from point O. That T2 is the time taken by the particle to reaching for Q from the point capital A. So if I try to analyze this thing, then if I say T2 equal to 1 second, then after 1 second, what is the velocity of the particle in the downward direction? If T2 equal to 1 second, then Vy equal to 9.8 meter per second, and the velocity is numerically exactly equal to that of the acceleration due to gravity. If T2 equal to 2 seconds, then Vy, the y component of velocity is g into 2, that is 19.6 meter per second square, that is a twice of the value of the acceleration due to gravity. Now if I say T2 equal to 3 seconds, then Vy equal to g into 3, so 29.4 meter per second, and so on. So here the acceleration due to gravity, each and every point increases the velocity by increase due to the is free fall. Here the particle is actually the free fall. So the velocity will increases until it reaching the ground, until it reaching the point B. Now if I say about this equation, that is the minus of u y square. Why minus of u y square? Minus of u prime y square. What is the minus of u prime y? It is the capital A point and it is the capital B point. At the capital A point, the velocity of the particle is w, and this is the y component of the velocity which is acting along the negative y directions. Numerically its value is 0. At the point B, the velocity of the particle is along the negative y directions and it is looking like this, and we say that when the particle is striking the ground, at that time its velocity is w prime, so it is w prime y. So this is the final velocity, and obviously it is non-zero because the acceleration due to gravity continuously acting on it and increasing its value. So minus of w y prime, minus is because of the negative y direction, plus here it should be a minus of w y prime whole square to minus of g minus of h. Here the particle covers this capital H height, but this capital H height is along the negative y direction. So if it is this wy square equal to uy square, since wy is 0, so uy square equal to 0 square plus 2gh. So this u prime y is equal to 2gh, root over of 2gh. I think if you have remembered about that, what is the value of ey, what is the value of the y component of the initial velocity when it is projected. If you can understood it, then just go for the first lecture, the first video of this series. There we have calculated that if uy, what is the value of uy, and that uy is 2gh, so uy equal to u sin theta. So the y component of the velocity of striking the ground, that is u prime y, is equal to the y component of velocity at the time of point of projection, that is uy. Both are equal. Since both are equals, it explains many things. It explains many things, that the particle is projected from here, it again returns back to the same horizontal level. Particle is thrown from the point O, it reaches the point A, after that it returns back to the point B. So this O to B via A, it again returns back to the same horizontal level. So it somehow indicates the case of conservation of energy. So that the velocity along this component, velocity along this, and the velocity along these axes are equal. It is not changing. And if I talking about the x-axis, the velocity along this x-axis, along these directions and along this direction is remain unchanged throughout the motion. Just the y component of velocity along the time of projection is in these directions, and the y component of velocity when it is striking the ground, it is along these directions. These two are same. By calculations we have seen that these two are same, and the horizontal component of velocity remains unchanged throughout the motion because no acceleration is acting along the x-axis. So the velocity of projection and the velocity of striking become same. Okay, obviously it follows the conservation of energy. Just concentrate on this figure. So you just say that here wy, here this wy and this wy prime, wy and this wy prime, wx and this wx prime are basically equal, that we have shown from the previous calculation, and wx and this wx and wx prime are same. For the time being we just take it is u and it is u prime, so we just show this is the ux prime and this is the u prime. The x component of it is ux prime and x component is uy prime. But I think you have understood the sense of rotation. It is along the anti-clockwise direction and this is along the clockwise direction. Okay. So if I try to write down the vectors, the velocity of projection at the time of projection at t equal to 0, velocity of projection at t equal to 0, just see at that time u prime equal to ux I cap plus uy j cap. So ux I cap, that is u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta j cap, u sin theta j cap. And here the velocity of striking the ground, we can say it is the u prime, and this u prime can be analyzed in divided into two components, that is ux prime and uy prime. This ux prime I cap uy prime minus j cap, since it is along the negative y axis. So u cos theta minus of u sin theta j cap. Okay. So from it, if I try to analyze this from the vectorial notation, then just see here this angle theta prime is u prime x divided by u prime y divided by u prime x. So it is just opposite to that of theta. So theta prime equal to minus theta. So if it is anti-clockwise, it shows the clockwise. This proves mathematically. Now we are going to calculate the time of descent. It is a time taken by the particle to reach from the point capital A to the point capital B. When the particle is at the point capital A, at that time this y component of velocity is 0. Let us consider we have started analyzing our motion at that particular time, so t is equal to 0, I just consider, but actually the t equal to 0 when the particle is at t equal to 0, the particle is at the ground level, that is the point of projection. So in better we can say that it is 0 plus t1 and this is t2 plus t1. So from here it is clear the time taken the particle in reaching from A to the point B, that is t2. So if t2 is the time required, then if I write down the equation, then wy prime minus of wy prime, because it is along negative y direction, the velocity of striking the ground, equal to minus of wy, the velocity of particle when it is at the maximum height, plus of minus g into t2, because minus g because it is along the negative y axis. So from here wy is 0. You know what is the cause behind this? It is for obvious reasons, because when the particle is at the maximum height, the y component of the velocity is 0. So w prime y equal to 0 plus g t2. So from here t2 equal to u prime by u prime y by g, but here I am replacing that u prime y by uy, because u prime y and uy are equal. Then uy by g, it gives the equation of the time of descent, the time taken by the particle in returning back to the ground from the maximum height. So from this expression it is clear that this u sin theta by g, we have seen these expressions before in the case of time of ascent. So from here the time taken by the particle to reach, the time taken by the particle to reach from the point O to capital A to reach here to here is u sin theta by g, and again in the time of returning back it again takes the time t sin u sin theta by g. So this t1 and t2 are equal, the time of ascent and the time of descent are equal here. So if anyone asks for which time, for how much time the particle is in the air, or what, in other words we can say what is the total time of flight, then we should add these two times, that is the time of ascent plus time of descent. The time of ascent is t1 and t2, is just putting the value, t1 is u sin theta by g and t2 is u sin theta by g. If I add these two, we get 2 u sin theta by g, that is 2 into y component of the initial velocity divided by g. So we can calculate the total time of flight if the angle of projection is known to us, if the initial velocity is known to us. So the total time of flight is depending on these two values. If the u is increasing, if the u is changing, if the u is increasing or u is decreasing, it shows the linear variation, that is t is proportional to u, and obviously t is proportional to sin theta. It is depending on the magnitude of the velocity of the initial velocity. It also dependent on the direction of throwing. Now the particle takes t1 equal to uy divided by g, that is u sin theta divided by g in reaching the maximum height, and t2 equal to ui by g equal to u sin theta by g in returning back to the ground. We have just analyzed these things and we have seen these two things are equal, and from that we have calculated total time for which the particle executes this vertical motion. So from here one thing is clear, that as long as the particle is in the vertical motion, simultaneously the particle executing the horizontal motion. All of you know that if the particle is thrown from here with an initial velocity u, by making an angle with the x-axis, then the trajectory of it is like this. As long as the particle is executing this motion, that is the upward motion, as long as the particle executing this upward motion, the particle executing the horizontal motion, we divide this into two parts, the horizontal along the x-axis and the vertical along the y-axis, for making our calculation simplified, so that we can analyze it easily. But the vertical motion from here to here and again returns back, I think you understood. If the particle reaches from here to here at the point capital A, the particle reaches from here to here, the u sin theta decreases, and after that at the point A, when it particle reaches the point A, at that time it is 0. Then when the particle is coming downward, at that time this 0 value again regains the value of u sin theta when it strikes the ground. So this, as long as this vertical motion is continuous, the horizontal motions takes place, and the horizontal motions, that is the u cos theta remains same at each and every point on its motion, because there is no acceleration, it is not affected by this acceleration due to gravity. So at each and every point this u cos theta acts on it when the particle is moving up and coming down. At each and every point this u cos theta just pushing it along the positive x-axis. So this is a simultaneous motion. So we can say what we have analyzed it differently, basically the x components motions and the y components motion is a simultaneous motion. Since this u cos theta is not changing, since the x component of the velocity, initial velocity, is not changing, so we can say the particle executes this motion with uniform velocity for the time t1 up to here, and for the time t2 from here to here. So if I multiply this ux with the total time of flight, then we can calculate the horizontal distance covered by the particle, that is the separation between the point O, and the point B, and that is called, in terms of physics, that is the range of the projectile. So whatever I have said differently, this thing is written here because we have calculated these things separately, but actually this simultaneous motion is observed if I see the trajectory of the particle. There is a separation between the point O and the point B, which is called the horizontal range. This horizontal range is ux, the x component of velocity, into the total time of flight. So u cos theta plus 2 u sin theta divided by g. If I do the calculation, do the multiplication, it becomes u square sin 2 theta divided by g, where sin 2 theta equal to 2 sin theta into cos theta. Therefore, the range depends on two variables, because g is constant here, acceleration due to gravity we have considered constant here. So we can analyze all of the motions or the motions along the one dimensions under constant acceleration. So range depends on the velocity of projection, and range depends on the angle of projection theta. So the r is depends on u square. We can say r is proportional to u square. And r is proportional to sin 2 theta. How r dependent on this variable, and how the other quantities dependent on this u and theta, and how these projected motions will change, that we will going to share in the next lecture. But for the time being, I want to share one strategy, one secret with you. Please take the handwritten notes, because handwritten notes is basically the feelings of us. Even when we scratch with a pencil or pen on the paper, then that is related to our feeling. We never forget these things. So wherever, if you think if you have to write it, just pause the video, write it down, and again start it. Thank you.